Prince William and Kate, Duchess of Cambridge, celebrated their 10-year wedding anniversary yesterday, causing many to look back on the last decade of the couple's time in the royal family. One royal expert noted that William and Kate have gradually stepped up their work after a quiet first few years. They spent the initial years laying the groundwork for what was to come later and getting their bearings, then around 4 years ago started taking on bigger projects, both as a pair and individually. In particular, Kate took her time getting to grips with the issues she wanted to champion, which seemed to be heavily influenced by becoming a mother, and came into her own with her recent early years work, focusing on issues like education and baby banks. Meanwhile, William has been stepping up his work on the environment, launching his most ambitious project yet with the Earthshot Prize. This is in contrast to Meghan and Harry, who were keen to get stuck in straight away, which is arguably where they went wrong, because they potentially bit off more than they could chew. Pod Save the Queen is hosted by Ann Gripper and features Daily Mirror royal editor Russell Myers. Mr. Myers said, "When you look at the 10-year period, and certainly Kate didn't want to rush into the job, and certainly she didn't, because it's taken her this amount of time to really get to grips with those major issues. Let's look at the Back to Nature project, the early years development, the issues with baby banks, things that will have societal change and maybe not instantly, maybe not 10 years, but will over the course of her royal life, maybe a generation or two that she's laid the foundations for." And I think that was always the key. There was never any pressure on her to jump into things. And perhaps, playing devil's advocate, on the other side, that's perhaps where Harry and Meghan went wrong, because they just wanted to do everything straight away. They were asking questions why they couldn't do this, that and the other, and they wanted to do everything very, very instantly, and so that's why they've gone their own way. Whereas for William and Kate, it's always been a marathon and not a sprint. And only now really, the last couple of years I think, you're really seeing the benefits and fruits of their labors, certainly hers because Shusha's done all the groundwork. We talk about the early years development. They'll tell you that 9 years graft has gone into this, and you won't have seen her do things for the last 9 years, maybe not even the last 5. But Shusha's been meeting people all the time. He added that Kate's work on early years development was also likely inspired by her own experience of motherhood, and how that has shaped which issues she cares about. Mr. Myers put the time frame for the Cambridge's star taking off at around the last 3 to 4 years. He noted that this is also when Meghan came onto the scene and said it may partly be due to Harry doing more things as a couple with Meghan, leaving William and Kate to do their own thing, without having to look after him. He said, "It's really been in the last 3, maybe 4 years that they have really, their star has taken off." And maybe that was because arguably when Meghan came onto the scene and they didn't have to look after Harry, so they could get on with their own thing, so they had more of an identity, just the two of them. Because it all started out doing heads together and projects with Harry as well. And then when they've been able to set up their own foundation, take that on as they have in the last couple of years, and Kate having more of an identity. Other commentators have made similar observations of Meghan and Harry's relationship. The Sussexes had more of a whirlwind romance than the Cambridges, meeting in June 2016, announcing their engagement in November 2017 and getting married in May 2018. This put less than 2 years before their first date and the date of their wedding. In contrast, William and Kate went for the marathon in this regard too, dating for over 8 years before finally getting engaged. This gave Kate a really good idea of what it would be like to be part of the royal family, what that means in terms of her freedom and privacy, as well as the job itself. On the other hand, Meghan admitted that she had no idea what it would be like in terms of press coverage of her, calling herself naive.